That's the one thing about our audience. They always want a new guy to break through the glass ceiling.
All you have to do is just be real.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, talking is done, you're out of your class, no sleep till Brooklyn, The Rock whoops your ass.
Woo! I wish you and King would quit talking.
Welcome to Around the Ring, episode 18 for today, Monday, May 11th, 2015. I am your host, Dave Brown. Hope everyone is doing well. This last week was kind of crazy for me, just on a real quick non-wrestling note. I live in Oklahoma, and we had just some hellacious storms. Not anything like bad tornadoes like we've had in the past, but we had major flooding. And if you Google Oklahoma floods 2015, you're going to find some crazy pictures. There's some great pictures of some spots I drive through in town regularly that were, cars were literally completely covered with water. But my big adventure, what came on Friday, I work in a public library. We closed early, and I headed home. And as I'm heading home, I go through the brunt of the storm. The absolute worst part of it. It was terrifying. There was sheets of rain I could barely see. Then there was hail. And then the icing on the cake, I do these things that you're just not supposed to do. I pull into my neighborhood, and I'm going around this turn, and the water is so freaking deep. Oh my holy God. The water came up to my tires, and at one point, some water splashed over the hood of the car. I'm 20 yards away from my house, thinking, dear Lord, please just let me get home. Just let me get home. And thankfully I did. I got home. We were fine. We have some little fence damage, a couple of other things in the house, nothing major. Turned out the next day I went to drive my car to work, and something's hanging off the bottom, so I'm going to have to go get that checked out. That was not fun. So, hope everyone out there is okay. It was a crazy week weather-wise. I saw actually a map that I think was taken from the Weather Channel or something. There was a tropical storm over on the East Coast, a blizzard up in the Northwest, and then we had flooding in Oklahoma and northern Texas. I think it's pretty safe to say that Mother Nature has finally had it with humanity. And is like, okay, guys, you've been screwing me up for a long time. Watch this. Boof. So, sorry, Mother Earth. We will try to do better. Please don't drown us. So yeah, that was my week. It was an event, man. So hope everyone else out there survived whatever is going on in your area. And man, we actually had a great week in wrestling. I tell you what, we had a fantastic episode of Raw. One of the best I've seen in years. We had a really good episode of NXT, a fantastic episode of Lucha Underground. We had that really excellent documentary from ESPN. And then there was the WWE 24 documentary special thing on Roman Reigns. We're going to get into all of that. And some dumbass comments made by one Mr. Vince Russo. I also really did try to watch Impact this week, to watch TNA, and I remember, I listened to Solid Monster's show yesterday, and he talked about Impact, how he'd watched it for the first time in a few weeks, and it was a good episode. So I was like, okay, I trust this man's opinion, he knows what he's talking about. I turn it on, and I just can't. I don't know what it is. And can anyone out there, if you can explain to me what I'm not getting, I would love to know. And I know at this point TNA is pretty much considered a joke in most people's eyes, and rightfully so, because it is pretty mediocre, or at least I say that I don't watch the show because I can't freaking get into it. The show opens up, Eric Young is in the ring, who I like. I like Eric Young a lot. I enjoy watching him work. And then Bully Ray comes out and interrupts him, and I just don't care. I hate the ring, the 6-sided ring. The production value is terrible. It looks slightly better than Ring of Honor, slightly, but that's not saying a whole lot. So yeah, it's just, and I want to watch it. I want to enjoy it. I want to try to give support to TNA because we need more wrestling organizations in the world. There are tons out there, but there need to be viable ones that are larger, kind of nationwide, and can be an alternative to the WWE, and can be a place, if nothing else, for these guys and gals to work. So from that standpoint, I certainly don't want to see TNA go under, and maybe Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, now that he's kind of taken over the creative reins, maybe he can fix things, even though my understanding creative hasn't been its issue lately. Who knows? I'm honestly at a loss. I try, I really do, and I can't get into it. And there's so many folks on that roster I like: Eric Young, Magnus, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Lashley, Drew Galloway. There's lots of folks on this roster that I like. I just can't get into it. Oh, the Wolves, another one. So hopefully they'll turn something around and make these shows watchable for me. I don't know. I'll keep trying periodically. One other thing before we get into the brunt of what I wanted to talk about, there is this sick video out from, I guess, one of the most recent episodes of Ring of Honor, which I have not watched lately, which I need to. I feel bad. I enjoy Ring of Honor every week, and in fact, when I went to watch this most recent one, every time I tried to watch it, my stream kept screwing up. But I really do enjoy Ring of Honor. I love their roster. I think they've got great talent. And I'm sad that I missed this. It was some match. It was Matt Sydal and somebody else. Maybe it might have been Cedric Alexander. I couldn't tell because mostly in the ring you just saw Matt Sydal. But it was Matt Sydal against the Young Bucks and AJ Styles. And there's this spot of Matt Sydal just getting killed. He goes for a shooting star press and then gets hit with some super kicks. He gets flipped around by AJ Styles, gets into a spiked tombstone pile driver from the Young Bucks, which gets pulled into the beginnings of a Styles clash. Before he actually does it, the Bucks hit again another super kick, and then he hits the Styles clash. It was just brutal. If you haven't seen it, the video is up on our Facebook page. You can check it out, facebook.com/AroundTheRingOK. And while you're there, go ahead and give us a like. We don't have a whole lot of love on the Facebook, and I would like to get some more. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and get into the brunt of what I really wanted to talk about this week. And the main thing is Raw. Last Monday's Raw was excellent. Really, there wasn't a point during the show that I zoned out, except maybe the Divas part, because I'm not a big Naomi fan. I'm not a fan of the Bellas. Tamina Snuka looks like a badass. I missed most of her career. So she's intriguing, but Naomi coming out doing an awesome Kong impression, and thank you to Joey Styles and Solid Monster for that. I would not have put two and two together, but once they mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, holy crap. It doesn't do anything for me. But Raw opened up with Randy Orton and Roman Reigns in the ring. The New Day interrupts them. And it was awesome. It was so good. The New Day comes out. Randy Orton's dancing to their music. It was hilarious. And then, as the crowd chants, "New Day sucks," Xavier Woods' reactions are priceless. He does this great scream of "Why?" And it's so funny. The New Day came out and said, "Hey, you know what? You guys are going to be in a match against us. It's a 3-on-2 handicap tag team match." And man, it was a good match. It was a lot of fun. It ended with, thankfully, the New Day winning. What happened? No, Roman Reigns was going to spear Kofi Kingston. Kofi jumped out of the way. Reigns speared Orton, and Kofi got the pin. It was great. The whole segment was so much fun. There was another segment where Ryback came out to talk about stuff, just talk about his life, his love of wrestling. Renee Young was in the ring, and he got some Goldberg chants because it started out kind of boring. I'm not going to lie, that was one of the kind of downsides. But there were some Goldberg chants, and I forget his exact words, but he reacted beautifully, and the crowd turned around and was doing "Feed Me More" before the end of it. So that was a good segment. The build-up of this Ryback Bray Wyatt feud is interesting. If at the end the whole thing results in Bray Wyatt reuniting with the Wyatt family, then to me it's all worth it. Because at one point, and man, was this on Raw or SmackDown? I can't remember, but Luke Harper had a match against Fandango. And I'm sorry, I will not call him Fandango. So Luke Harper destroyed Fandango, and then comes out Eric Rowan, and Eric Rowan then kicks the crap some more out of Fandango. So they've been setting this up apparently at house shows for a while. Rowan has been acting like a heel, has been doing some stuff with Harper, so it looks like we're going to get Rowan and Harper back together, and that's just step one. We need to get them back with Bray Wyatt. The whole splitting up the Wyatt family was ridiculous. And then I also like the idea, which some other folks have pitched, namely Solid Monster, and yes, I'm a huge fan of his show, if you can't tell, that bringing Bo Dallas into the Wyatt family clan. And I think that would be great, especially if you keep Bo Dallas exactly as Bo Dallas, and you just bring him in and say, I've been swayed to this man. This man can lead you to where you go. All you have to do is Bo leave. It would be just excellent. So we'll see what happens at Payback, and I'm going to get into some Payback predictions here in a little bit. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd had a match against the Ascension, probably the Ascension's best match ever, but as I have said time and time again, you can put Cesaro and Tyson Kidd in the ring with a rag doll and a toothbrush, and you will have an excellent match. The crowd was so into Kidd and Cesaro, which was great. And this is something I kind of want to bring up now that I've been wanting to talk about. This reinvention of Tyson Kidd and Cesaro in the New Day, as they kind of did a double turn. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro have been playing it as heels. Tyson Kidd really found his voice in NXT when he became this kind of snotty heel, and especially reacting to the Natty's husband's chant and everything. And his team with Cesaro, Cesaro's been this kind of weird heel that people really want to cheer, but kind of does these heelish things, but not too over the top. But then you watch him wrestle, and you're like, holy fuck, this guy's amazing. So they've been doing this kind of heel tag team, and they've been the tag team champions, and they were great champions, and then they lost to the New Day when the New Day cheated. And so it caused this double turn. By kind of de facto, they became, Kidd and Cesaro, or the Brass Ring Club, became the baby faces when the New Day became the heels. This was solidified this week on SmackDown when there was a 6-man tag match, the New Day against Kidd and Cesaro and a partner of their choosing, and out came Ryback. And it was also a fun match. And in that one, crap, I can't even remember who won. I remember it was really enjoyable. I think there was a kind of effed finish with, Bray Wyatt's music came on. And I want to say the New Day won, but I've slept since then. And I did not take notes as I was watching that show. Unlike Raw, I was enjoying Raw so much. I was typing stuff down, writing stuff down so I wouldn't forget. So this whole reinvention has done wonders for all 5 of these guys. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, especially Cesaro, have needed to be baby faces. Kidd's old babyface persona just didn't work. But his new kind of badass, amazing technical wrestler, almost Bret Hart-esque babyface with Cesaro. And they're, in a lot of ways, these guys are really tweeners, But they're not cheating right now. They're going out there and they're just showing people we're the best freaking wrestlers on the planet. You can't touch us. And it is fantastic. And that's so much fun to watch. And the New Day finally kind of getting this angry thing going and tapping into frustration, and it just shows how good Xavier Woods is. Xavier Woods is a guy, since being on the main roster, has not been used properly. WWE is pretty notorious for not using guys properly, especially black guys. And even though a lot of people have said, this New Day thing is racist, they don't get it, I'm starting to really enjoy it because it's kind of over the top, but them as heels. Kofi is really finally starting to get some heel things going. Big E, who is charismatic as just a crazy southern black minister, is just, his voice is being found here. And the three of them together are fantastic. And I think this heel New Day is really going to work. And I hope, as much as I want to see, Kidd and Cesaro as tag team champions, I kind of hope they keep the belts on the New Day for a while. I want them to have a good, strong run and to be legitimate. And I want to see them beat some top guys. That's what was so great about them beating Orton and Reigns in the opening match of this last week's Raw, because it really gave them legitimacy. Even though it was kind of a screwed finish, it gave them legitimacy, and that's something they really, really need. The two best things that happened in this Raw were one was the Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins match. J&J Security banned from ringside, and Seth Rollins, is having his conniption fit about this match. There's no reason for this match, so Kane comes out, and I absolutely love Kane in this tweener / babyface authority figure thing he's doing, and because he just gets under Seth Rollins' skin. Says, okay, you're right. This match doesn't mean anything. So here's the deal: if Dean Ambrose wins, he is going to be added to the main event at Payback, changing it from a three-way or a triple threat match to a fatal four-way. And the crowd goes freaking-listic. And this crowd was so amazing. But the crowd goes nuts. And Ambrose and Rollins have a just phenomenal match. Just a spectacular match. And when at the end Ambrose got the win, I was throwing my hands up in the air, and I was stoked. I haven't reacted like that to a win of a match in a while, and it was great. And I can't wait to see Ambrose in that main event where he needs to be. This guy is phenomenal. Of the three guys in the Shield, I think he is connected with the crowd better than anyone else. And that's not to take away anything from Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns. It's just Dean Ambrose can, I think, connect with people in a way that they can't. And so him being in this match is just excellent. The other thing, there were three things really that made this show great. The first being this pay-per-view caliber match between Ambrose and Rollins. The second was the crowd. This crowd in Montreal was so hot, and they were so much fun, and they got into everything throughout the night. Just periodically you'd have Olay chants. This crowd was just dying for Sami Zayn, and we'll get to him in a second. But they were on fire. They were behind everything. They were loud. They were rambunctious. That is the kind of crowd that you want to have at these events. That's the kind of crowd that makes watching it on TV that much more fun. Because you watch an event and the crowd is dead, you're like, well, who cares? So perfect example. That opening bit of Impact from this last week from TNA that I watched. Eric Young's out there, mad as hell, wanting to know, what the stipulation, who the guest referee for his match with a Kurt Angle is going to be, and out comes, Bully Ray, to what should have been a humongous pop. And it was just meh. And it made it horrible. It made it almost, it did make it unwatchable. I turned it off. So a crowd makes a huge difference. And this is something I'm going to talk about later on. The kind of crowds, the kind of fans that WWE should be nurturing and are not. But this crowd was incredible. And then came the best part of the night. The John Cena U.S. title open challenge. Whoever thought I would say that the best part of the show would have John Cena in it. Well, it wasn't because of John Cena. John Cena comes out, and there are Sami Zayn chants, there are Olay chants, and for those of you who don't know, Sami Zayn is from Montreal, which is where Raw was this week, last week. So Cena cuts a promo about Rusev, blah blah blah, and then lays down the open challenge, and Bret Hart's music hits. And Cena's face is like, what? I'm going to fight Bret Hart? So Bret Hart comes out and starts talking, and then Heath Slater's music hits, and Slater comes out, and Slater is just, he's awful. One funny moment, though, I will give JBL credit where credit is due. Heath Slater said something about knowing how to speak French, and JBL's response was, "Well, you're fluent in redneck," and it just made me laugh because, Heath Slater is just awful. Yet Bret Hart's in the ring, and if he's gonna punch somebody, Heath's coming out to take it, So Heath Slater gets in the ring and says, "No, this is my open challenge." Basically, as soon as he walks in the ring, Bret Hart hits him with the microphone, knocks him out, and he goes out of the ring. And Bret Hart introduces the one and only Sami Zayn, who gets a hero's welcome. The crowd goes nuts. If you have not watched this segment, watch it. Granted, it's not Sami Zayn's best match in the world, but it was it was fun. The crowd is going ballistic. Sami comes out, and when Sami gets to the ring post, he does this thing where he throws his arms up in the air. And when he did that, apparently he effed up his left shoulder. Or his right shoulder. His left shoulder. He effed up his left shoulder. And during the match, eventually a doctor had to come out and look at it. And he continued the match. So that was part of it. And, he did so many of his big spots. So many, classic Sami Zayn moments. And it was a great match. It was a great introduction for Sami Zayn to the major WWE universe. And he gave John Cena a hell of a fight, but he did come up short. And that's okay. There are people out there who have been pissing and moaning, saying that's it. They've Cena buried Sami Zayn. They've buried him, blah, blah, blah. No. Burying Sami Zayn, or burying somebody, is what Triple H did to Booker T at that one WrestleMania, where he hit him with a pedigree and took like 5 minutes to cover the guy, and Booker T didn't kick out. That's a burial. Not what happened to Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn is out there. He does a good match, and at the end, John Cena shakes his hand, picks him up, raises his hand, and says, "Great job," and gets out of the ring and lets Sami Zayn have a moment in front of the hometown crowd. And it was so amazing. Here it is. I am a huge Sami Zayn fan. I would say probably right now Sami Zayn is my favorite wrestler out there. And I cannot wait for him to come up to the main roster just so he can keep getting reactions like that. And because the main roster desperately needs this kind of talent. Unfortunately, in this match, Sami Zayn really did screw up his shoulder. And whether or not he will be in the next NXT TakeOver special, which happens to be a week from Wednesday, is unknown. So we'll find that out later. We'll talk about NXT a little bit later on. But that was a great great segment. The main event segment was a contract signing for the. Oh no, wait, that was on SmackDown. I really can't. I stopped taking notes after that because it was just so much fun I watched the show often in multiple sittings, so I watched the rest of it the next day, and there was something with, I think the show did end with, I forget, there was some match, and Reigns and Rollins and Orton all ended up in the ring, and then, Dean Ambrose came out, and it ended up Dean Ambrose standing tall at the end, which was great. Crowd going nuts. Dean Ambrose needs to be the next world champion, but probably not going to happen. We will get to that in a minute. So that was Raw. It was awesome. And actually and fluent and redneck. That is what JBL said. Hilarious. Now, one other thing I will I got a nitpick here, and this is back to the Sami Zayn segment, and this is on the announcers, specifically Michael Cole. And they've done this with Neville, they did this with Zayn, and they talk about these guys like they are brand new, fresh off the boat, just laced up their boots for the first time. And at one point, Michael Cole said, Sami Zayn's young career. Sami Zayn's career is just as long as John Cena's. The difference is he did not come up through developmental like John Cena did and just be in the WWE. John Cena, I think, other than a very short period of time pre-OVW, has been completely in the WWE system his entire career. Sami Zayn, on the other hand, has traveled the world working in independence. Same with Adrian Neville, same with Kevin Owens, same with Finn Balor and Hideo Itami. These guys have been all over the world, playing in front, not playing, but performing in front of small crowds and dingy buildings, and in big arenas in front of huge crowds. So acting like these guys are these rookies is insulting to them, and it's insulting to the audience. And this we're going to get into a little bit later when I talk about the kind of fans that the WWE needs to really go after or cultivate. But yeah, that just irked me to no end. But we will come back to some of that here in a little bit. Now, this coming Sunday is the Payback pay-per-view. As of right now, there are only 2 matches officially on the pay-per-view. We're a week out, and we have 2 matches officially on the pay-per-view. That's kind of jacked up. That is not a good way to build up a pay-per-view. Now, in their defense, I think it's been all of, 3 weeks since... I think there was about 3 weeks in between Extreme Rules and this pay-per-view. So, I won't criticize them too terribly, but you would think they would have a few more things. So we'll go over I'll give you my predictions for the 2 matches that are official, and then there's a handful of rumored matches, and we'll go through those. So the official matches are the United States Championship, John Cena versus Rusev in an I Quit match. If anyone thinks that John Cena is not walking out of this thing with the U.S. title, you're out of your ever-loving mind. John Cena is not... They're not going to have him say the words, I quit. I don't think they should have Rusev say, I quit either. Especially not to that crappy-ass STF move. God, that thing is horrible. Pass out? Yeah. Actually, I think what should happen is he should be in the hold. He should be saying no, no, no. And Lana should throw in the towel. And that be the submission, and John Cena retains. It kind of works toward the babyface turn of Lana, because Rusev will freak the F out and start screaming at her. Just one other, I forgot to mention one other thing, speaking of Lana, there was a great moment on Raw. It was actually on Raw because Fandango had a match against Rusev on Raw. Fandango then SmackDown has a match against Luke Harper. Sometimes I can't keep it all straight. But on Raw, there was this match with Rusev, and Fandango gets out of the ring, walks up to Lana, and starts doing, his Fandango dance. And Lana has this moment where she just gets this little smile, and she starts doing the dance, and it's adorable. It is so hilarious, and Rusev gets so pissed, and he tells Lana to leave, and she has this just sad look on her face. And then, on SmackDown, she came out, and she's like, please don't cheer me. She's obviously enjoying the accolades from the crowd, but she's like, please don't cheer me, I'm here only for Rusev. To which Rusev comes out and tells her to leave the ring. But this match, I think, would be really good if you had her throw in the towel. And that's how Rusev loses. Because John Cena is not going to utter the words, I quit. It's just not going to happen. So we will, that's going to be that match. It's probably going to suck. No, let's be honest. Then the main event is a fatal 4-way match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins defending against Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and Dean Ambrose. This has potential for nothing but excellence. I mean, you've got 4 guys in there. The weakest link is probably Roman Reigns, but honestly, he's not bad, and he's gotten better. And him not winning the championship at WrestleMania was the absolute best thing for his career right now, because it was either he needed to either win and turn heel or not win. And him not winning was great because he is now reconnecting with the fans, and fans aren't feeling as resentful toward him, and that's awesome. So really, this match is going to come down to Seth Rollins retaining or Dean Ambrose winning. I don't see them putting the belt on Roman Reigns. He's still not ready. I don't think fans would accept him. Putting the belt on Randy Orton at this point is redundant. He's had it, almost more times than God. So we're going to keep it off Randy Orton. So that comes down to Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. In all likelihood, Seth Rollins is going to retain. I don't think WWE is ready to give up on Seth Rollins as champion, and that's fine. I think they should go with Dean Ambrose. If it was up to me, Dean Ambrose would win this match because he connects so well with the audience. And that sets up for another really good Ambrose-Rollins feud, because that feud never had a payoff. It never did. And those two guys work so incredibly well together. So that could be awesome. Oh, there's a lot of talk being made about how this is all 3 guys of the Shield in a match, and that maybe it's going to end with them reforming the Shield and turning on Randy Orton. I don't think that's going to happen. Like others have said, I do think we'll get the triple powerbomb spot on Randy Orton at some point, probably. But I don't think you're going to get the Shield reuniting. And I hope they don't. It makes no sense storyline wise for the Shield to reunite now. It would make sense later for Seth Rollins to do a babyface turn and then work with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. That would make much more sense, but that's still not going to happen. He needs a little bit longer to be this wimpy heel, and then just kind of start to slowly get tired of people criticizing him for being a wimp, and start doing non-wimpy stuff, and then eventually turning on the Authority. So that is what I would like to see happen eventually someday. But back to this match, I think we're going to get Seth Rollins walking out still as a WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but I would love to see it on Dean Ambrose. So rumored matches include Bray Wyatt versus Ryback. I think if that happens, Bray Wyatt's going to win. He should win. He needs a win. And I think it could be a good match. Bray Wyatt is fantastic. He needs the Wyatt family back with him. I hope they come back together. And I'd really like Bo Dallas, his real-life brother, to join him, like I mentioned earlier. I think that would be fantastic. Another rumored match is Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler with some kind of stipulation. I hope Ziggler's going to win, but it's going to go to Sheamus. And let's be honest, they're going to make this 3 matches, so Ziggler won the first one, Sheamus will win this one, and then they will have, at the next pay-per-view, which I can't even remember what the crap that is, they should have a go-home rubber match. And so, yeah. It's, okay, so as much as I dislike Sheamus, and I've never been a fan of Sheamus, it's Dolph Ziggler in there, it's going to be a good match. And, I say I'm not a huge fan of Sheamus because he bores me, and I'm not a big fan of his wrestling style. I do think he's done a really good job with his heel turn. He's annoying as hell, and so that's a good thing. And the people love Dolph Ziggler, so that'll be fun. Then there is a rumored tag team title match, New Day against Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, otherwise known as apparently the Brass Ring Club, at least according to Bleacher Report. Or did I get this list from? No, I think I got this from a story on the Inquisitor. If this is happening, I think the New Day is going to win via some cheating, probably some help from Xavier Woods from the outside. As much as I want to see Tyson Kidd and Cesaro back with the championship, I think it'll help Kidd and Cesaro get over. You keep seeing them get screwed out of the titles due to cheating, and it just helps them get over because it's going to be a great freaking match. And it looks like there were two others that are rumored. Naomi and Tamina Snuka against the Bella Twins. I'm going to go with Naomi and Tamina on this one, even though I really don't care. Not because I dislike Divas Wrestling. I really like Divas Wrestling. Just look at what they're doing down in NXT. But I don't care about the Bellas. I don't like Naomi. Tamina looks like a badass, but I just don't care, as I mentioned earlier. And then finally, King Barrett against Neville. This, sadly, you're probably going to have Barrett win. Boo. It'll be a great match. Those two guys have really good chemistry together. I'd rather see Neville come out on top. But yeah, that's the rumored card. So those are my thoughts on the Payback. So we will see next Sunday when that happens. I am looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. And so, what else this week? Oh, ESPN had their E60 WWE Behind the Curtain documentary. And this thing was awesome. I don't watch ESPN. I don't have cable. I'm not really a sports fan other than pro wrestling. So I have no, ESPN's not something I watch, but man, oh man, this documentary was freaking great. Now, a lot of the footage was from a couple of years ago. It focused on Xavier Woods, Adam Rose, and son of a bitch, who was the other guy? Oh, Corey Graves, sorry. And it was really interesting. Xavier Woods is just great. He and apparently Tyler Breeze are good friends. Then there were a couple of extras that ESPN put on their website and on YouTube. One was with Colin Cassidy. The other was with Tyler Breeze. Those just didn't make it onto the show. And it was a fascinating look at some of the really interesting things. These meetings that were headed by Triple H that included, Dusty Rhodes, Bill DeMott, Michael Cole, Billy Gunn, all these people talking about these different characters and where they should go, whether or not they should cut them or what. And it was really fascinating. If you're interested in that part of the whole wrestling business, it's a great watch. And the big takeaway from this is Adam Rose, otherwise known as, his real name is Ray LaPont. He also worked as Leo Kruger. And learning about his life, and he has a special needs kid that has to be fed through a tube in his stomach, and his wife, and he's fighting for his family, and how close he came to being fired. He was so close to being released because Leo Kruger just was not getting over. And so he came up with the character of Adam Rose. As at house shows, he was playing more of a baby face. And so they came up with Adam Rose, and it's worked. Now, I'm, again, going to agree with Solomonster and saying I really want to see more about Ray LaPon. I want to see him come out just as himself and cut a promo talking about the E60 documentary and everything. And I think people would really enjoy him. And if you want to keep the name Adam Rose, that's fine. I don't think he should go back to being Leo Kruger. I think he either needs to stay as Adam Rose but take on his own persona, or come out as Ray LaPon. And I've always liked Adam Rose. I've not been too happy with the way he's been booked, but I've enjoyed his work. His in-ring work is quite good. And it would be nice to see him do something else. And after watching that, he is a really likable guy. You definitely want to see him succeed. And I hope they do something with him, because I think he could be something special. Maybe not main event, but definitely upper mid card, a guy that can connect with fans. So that would be a lot of fun, I think, and hopefully they will. One other documentary, the WWE on the WWE Network had WWE 24, Roman Reigns Never Alone. It was a special that chronicled his day of WrestleMania and kind of leading up to it. And you got to have interviews with his wife, his family, a lot of things, his day at WrestleMania, through the event itself, his mom, who's just gets real nervous every time he steps in the ring. She was ringside, and it was really good. And why they couldn't have done something like this prior to WrestleMania to help get this guy over, I don't know. But this is definitely the kind of thing that should help Roman Reigns get over with folks if they see it. The folks that are going to see it should really, really enjoy it. And if WWE was smart, they would put together a preview of it that they would show during Raw. Like five maybe 10-minute preview that they show on Raw would be great. But even if they don't, this is a fantastic, well, I wouldn't say fantastic, a very, very good little mini documentary. There was also the other 24 that I watched was the one about Booker T. That one was quite good. There was one about, I think, last year's WrestleMania. I haven't watched that one yet, but these are typically good. WWE does a very good job in their documentaries. They're just bad about, doing some revisionist history crap in there. And in this one, there was a perfect example when it came showing the finish of WrestleMania. They edited out this curb stomp, which was beyond stupid, and it was a very awkward edit. I know they've decided not to use the curb stomp to basically ban it going forward, which is whatever. But taking it out, basically pulling a Benoit, they Benoit it. They erased it from history. That's dumb. Dumb. Now, I haven't had a chance to actually see if they've edited it out of WrestleMania itself, out of the replays. I really hope they wouldn't go that far. They haven't gone that far with Chris Benoit. If you go back and watch WrestleMania 20, that triple threat match for the world title is still the main event. So hopefully they won't take it out, but it was stupid. Otherwise, this special was quite good. And these documentaries are quite good. Some of my favorite things I've seen on the WWE Network have been these documentaries, like the Beyond the Ring, the Ricky Steamboat documentary. I really enjoyed the history of the AWA, the WCCW documentaries, the Rise and Fall of WCW documentary. These are all very, very good. And this one is another one. And just like the Booker T one, the 24 Booker T was quite good. So these are something that I think WWE does very well, and I can't wait to see more of them. Though it's something that they really are succeeding at, and that's the network needs that kind of content, I think. So speaking of the network, over on NXT, they're setting the stage for NXT TakeOver Unstoppable. This week's episode of NXT had a contract signing for the match between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks for the title. We also had the main event was Tyler Breeze against Hideo Itami, with Finn Balor sitting in the out by ringside watching the match. It was a fantastic match, which should come as no surprise. And I believe Atami won, but there was a spot at the end where Atami and Breeze are out of the side of the ring, and Atami goes for the shotgun kick onto Breeze on the outside. Breeze jumps out of the way, and Atami hits Finn Balor with it, knocking him through the ring guard, or the railings outside of the ring. They end up both back in the ring. Atami wins. Afterwards, Tyler Breeze attacks Atami, and then Finn Balor comes in for the save, and then Breeze nails Balor with a supermodel kick, nails Atami with a beauty shot, and leaves them both lying. Great setup. Because that is, as of right now, Unstoppable is going to have a triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the NXT title, and that match is Hideo Itami, Tyler Breeze, and Finn Balor. Unfortunately, Hideo Itami has apparently gotten an injury, I think his shoulder as well, and he's probably going to be out for a good 8 months. So nothing's been announced as far as what's going to happen with the match. Also, on the heels of Sami Zayn with his shoulder injury at Raw, we don't know what's going to happen with him and his match against Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship. So there's still a lot up in the air, but this episode this week of NXT did a good job of kind of laying the groundwork. Rhino had a match against Bull Dempsey where he destroyed Bull Dempsey and called out challenged Baron Corbin to a match at TakeOver. Enzo and Cass got attacked backstage by Blake and Murphy, setting up for their tag team match for the title. So it's looking like we're going to have a great special for NXT this coming week, on a week from Wednesday. So next week on Around the Ring, I will give my predictions. We'll go over the card and talk about that. But yeah, NXT, as always, great show. So we're going to change gears a little bit and talk about Lucha Underground. So this week, Lucha Underground just had another excellent episode. I mean, this show is so good every week. But the things that really made this episode stand out, we had a main event, Johnny Mundo against Alberto El Patron in, pay-per-view caliber match. Just phenomenal match. El Patron ended up winning. Just outstanding standing match. There was a Hernandez and Prince Puma teamed up against Cage and King Cuerno. That was a good match with the Hernandez heel turn on Prince Puma, setting up for, at some point they're going to have a match. But that main event was to determine who would go against Hernandez to decide the new number one contender. So we were going to get a match, Hernandez against Al Patron, at some point in the future, and that should be awesome. That's going to be really good. The other thing that was just fantastic was Son of Havoc and Angelico, with Ivelisse in their corner, had a match against two of the crew. I think it was, which ones was it? It was Mr. Cisco and Cortez. It was a fun match. The crew ended up winning, but man, I tell you what, Angelico and Son of Havoc are so over in that building. That place is going nuts. And Son of Havoc, he's fantastic. I hadn't really appreciated him at the beginning of Lucha Underground, but he is just top notch. And those two with Ivelisse as the trio's champions, it's just a fun team. Ivelisse barking orders, Angelico and Son of Havoc not really being on the same page. Tons of fun. So again, if you're not watching Lucha Underground, what the hell is wrong with you? Go watch it. And this episode is another one that will just show you how freaking awesome it is. Something I forgot to talk about NXT. So I'm all over the place, as you can tell. And then we're coming close to the end of this week's episode, but over on WWE.com, they have a story of 5 NXT superstars we want to see on the main roster. It's a pretty cool little article. And the 5 include, as I'm waiting for this stupid website to load, Bayley, completely agree with that. Then we have Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, absolutely agree. Then Baron Corbin. Okay, I really like Baron Corbin. I don't think he's ready for the main roster. Presence will get you far in size, but he just needs a little bit more time to really hone his craft. Next is Sasha Banks, 100% agree. And finally, Finn Balor. When Finn Balor comes to the main roster, it is going to be something special. He is, because he is, him, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, especially these 3. Is then you've also got there's the NXT 5, Balor, Owens, Zayn, Neville, Atami. Of those 5, though, Balor, Owens, and Zayn are something special. And I think we're going to see that when they hit the main roster. Obviously, look at the reaction Zayn got this week. So yeah. What do you guys think? I think that is a good list of people that should come up to the main roster. I pretty much agree with it, except for the whole Baron Corbin thing. But yeah. So last but not least, Vince Russo this week, after Raw, came out with some ridiculous comments, and I'm actually going to read some of this. I'm taking from a story on ringsidenews.com, and but it's been all over. I think Vince Russo is a blog entry he made, and admittedly, I first heard about this on last week's Wrestling Soup episode. But here's his quote. Everybody is running to the defense of the WWE, claiming that Raw was a great show on Monday night. Why was it great in their opinion? Simply because an NXT wrestler they all mark out for, Sami Zayn, made a surprise appearance on WWE's premiere show. I can only imagine when Sami got introduced by Bret Hart and came out as a surprise through the Raw entrance to the internet wrestling community was the equivalent of Jesus himself showing up unannounced at the Sea of Galilee. Man, this guy's writing sucks. Okay, I continue. But to the casual wrestling fan, nobody cared. To them, this was a jobber and nothing more, so they indeed turned back to hoops. Raw is a television show, and Sami Zayn is not a television star, nor will he be anytime soon. Sami is an exceptional wrestler on a wrestling show, and the only people who care about him are those die-hard wrestling fans who are looking for 5-star matches that the massive masses don't give a shit about. So, what Vince Russo is so pathetically trying to say, because obviously this man can't write to save his damn life, is that Raw didn't have the best ratings in the world, and he's blaming Sami Zayn because casual fans don't know who Sami Zayn is and don't care. For a long time, WWE has been trying to do everything based on the whims of the casual fan. The casual fan are the people that brought Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock to such prominence. The casual fan are the people that made the NWO huge successes. But here's the thing. Without the diehard fan, there is no casual fan. It was the diehard fan in the 90s telling people, holy crap, you've really got to check this NWO thing out. It's amazing. Or saying, holy crap, you really need to check this guy Stone Cold Steve Austin out. He's awesome. So without the diehard fans spreading the word to their casual fan friends, it doesn't go anywhere. For so long, the WWE has tried so hard to placate the casual fan, and that's why we've had 10 years of John Cena running amok over the roster, and guys like Randy Orton, and hell, even guys like the freaking Big Show. And it's ruining the business. It is absolutely destroying the business, because the people who care the most, the diehard fans, are being turned off by it. And they're watching things like NXT. They are going to indie shows. And sure, it's a small number of people in comparison, in the grand scheme of things. But if you create a show that keeps that group of fans loyal and makes them eager to watch each and every week and go to the shows and spend their hard-earned money on your product, they will spread the word. They will get casual fans to start watching and get those casual fans to turn into diehard fans. And that is what the wrestling world needs right now. The wrestling world does not need more casual fans that only know about John Cena. The wrestling world needs more fans like were filled in that stadium in Montreal. Needs more fans like that. Needs more fans like that were in Philadelphia at the Royal Rumble. Needs more fans like the folks who were the Raw after WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania. These are the fans that WWE needs to cultivate. These are the fans that they need to impress and not piss off. And unfortunately, Vince McMahon and company just don't see that. And Vince Russo, in his pathetic attempt to try to stay relevant, is making this point perfectly clear. And it's ridiculous. Sami Zayn is like, in so many ways, and I hate to make the comparison, but is like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is the biggest star that WWE has produced, probably since John Cena and CM Punk. The absolute biggest star with the most mainstream appeal. And he's a wrestler's wrestler. He is a diehard wrestling fan. He is an internet wrestling community darling. He is the kind of guy that folks like, well, me, want to see. And so is Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn, in a lot of ways, can connect even more with a crowd than Daniel Bryan can, because Sami Zayn is the absolute quintessential babyface, and he has the ability to make people love him just by being himself. Sami Zayn, in a lot of ways, is if you took Daniel Bryan and Ricky Steamboat and they had a kid. That kid would be Sami Zayn. And that is exactly the kind of guy WWE needs to be pushing, because that is the kind of guy who's going to bring in fans that will spend their money, that will be there loyally each and every week. Because I tell you what, man, the key to success with anything is to build loyalty in your customer base. If you have a customer base that loves your product and loves what you're doing, they will spread the word. It's not a guarantee, doesn't always work, but in this case I think it would. And that is what the wrestling world needs. The wrestling world needs more diehard fans. And Vince Russo is completely off the mark on this. He's a freaking idiot. And the fact that he still has these pathetic attempts to try to stay relevant is just mind-boggling, really. But hey, wow, we've already gone an hour. That's pretty much it for this week. I appreciate everyone taking time out of their day to hang out with me, listen to some of my ramblings about the pro wrestling. So you can check us out each and every week here on Around the Ring. You can hear us on K98talk.com. You can hear us on the Spark Radio Network at thesparkradionetwork.com/Around the Ring OK. You can hear us on the United Podcast Network at unitedpodcasts.weebly.com. You can also check out our homepage, aroundtheringok.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/aroundtheringok. You can like us on Facebook, like I mentioned earlier, where we've got that great video of the Young Bucks and AJ Styles just killing Matt Sydal. That's facebook.com/aroundtheringok. And you can send me questions, comments, suggestions, at aroundtheringok@gmail.com. If you notice, I use the same handle for pretty much everything. Try to keep it easy like that. So again, hey, I hope everyone has a great week, and happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Your hard work is appreciated by everyone. So thank you all very much for tuning in, and we will be back here next week for the next edition of Around the Ring. Hope everyone has a great day and a great week, and as the great Jerry Springer used to always say, take care of yourselves and each other.
You've been listening to Around the Ring on the Spark Radio Network.
All you have to do is change your point of view. And believe.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Bam! Woo!
This sucks more than anything that I've ever fucked before.
What? It's for charity.